This is going to be one of the most important videos I've ever in my life. I really hope that everybody who has, sorry, I'm just on the couch trying to adjust my, I really hope that every single person that has followed me from the very beginning is able to see this video, because this video is such an eye-opener. And even if some people will not be able to watch this live and get all the emotions and capture all the emotions live, I really feel like this video could save someone's life. And I knew that 2022 was going to be a special year. I've always said that I felt that 2022 was going to be a special year, and it is. I've learned a lot about boundaries and, honestly, self-respect, self-love, self-care, about respecting your emotions, not doing things based upon anything fleeting necessarily, but based upon is the truth of the matter, the facts. And I'm really proud of myself. I'm recording this video towards almost the end of the Mercury retrograde. I believe we also have a Mars retrograde. I'm still recovering with my throat. So much has happened, so I've really been taking time to recover, just from being over just so much stuff. And I'm just really proud of myself. But I really wanted to make this video. It's life. It could save your life. It could save you from having um, jobs. Are we back? So I'm gonna get my laptop because the retrograde is really causing issues. So I'm just gonna get my laptop so I could see if I'm buffering, so that I'm not having to repeat myself. So just give me a second. All right, got my laptop, because with the retrograde, the connection issues are really something else. Everybody's been having these connection issues. So I got my laptop to check when I buffer, so I don't have to repeat myself. If it has to reconnect or whatever, at least I could see it reconnecting, and then I can continue talking. So today, so let me just get my laptop up, you all, real quickly. Got 10% on my phone. So I'm gonna have to, anyway. Got 10%. Let's see if I can do under an hour video with this message right here, because I know how I am. And those who've been following me from the beginning, you all know how I am as well. I may or may not edit this part out. We'll see. This is live, so I prefer everything. You know, I like to show everything live. You guys know I am. All right, let's see. I am logged in. Let's see how okay, it's up. Great. All right, I'm back. Awesome. Okay. So as I was saying to you all, as I was saying to you all, I think it's really, let me get my drink. I'm thirsty. God, my throat. When you're so busy, you know, it's like your voice goes sometimes. And I feel like that's how I feel. Okay, I'm back. So back to what I was saying about about choices, and how people either don't have the right belief or information or awareness, you know, to let go, to move on, to make the tough decisions. And like I was saying before, the connection was reconnecting on YouTube's end, is that a lot of people just don't know what to do. You know, it's not even necessarily that they don't want to change, they don't want to have a better quality of life, or they don't want to do the work on themselves even, but some people just don't know, you know? Some people just don't know that there's better, whether it's a job, quality of life, occupation, relationship, even friendships, acquaintances, income. You know, sometimes people just, they've not broken through. You know, they've not had a spiritual awakening, or they've not really had anybody love them enough to tell them, hey, you know, what you're participating in or what you're doing with your life, or who you're talking to or who you're with is toxic, can kill you. I have to probably edit that part out. I can't say the K word, but I'll say this: can take you out of here, you know, can mess up your life. So over the retrograde period, you know, I'm a firm believer in using discernment. And what I will say is that, you know, I don't think that every emotion that we have is going to lead us all the time to the right action, the right, you know, action conclusion to a solution. But I do believe that a lot of times our gut feeling, our intuition, how our body feels, you know, is a big part of our atmosphere, our connections, how we are doing in life, you know? And a lot of times what the conditioning will say is ignore it, ignore it. You're overthinking, you're being too sensitive, you're dramatic, you're this, you're that, especially for women. You know, you're being crazy. And it's not true, you know? It's not true. You know, there's never been a time in my life where my intuition has ever been wrong. Not one. Especially when it comes to a person's character or a group of people's character that are hurting someone or something's going on. Like, I've never had my gut feeling say anything different and it was wrong, ever. So the way I feel right now is like, and I'm sharing this because I want somebody out here in the world who is just tired of settling, you know, tired of putting up with disrespect, tired of not going after what you want, tired of being suppressed, tired of feeling like you have to change to be accepted. Like, this is your life, you know, this is your life. And even if you are forgiving, or you believe in forgiveness, or you have a good heart, it does not mean that you have the right to be taken advantage of or to be disrespected and hurt over and over and over again. And I think some people's personality, like myself before, is like, you don't want to have any drama. You don't want to be mean to anybody. You don't want to show that side of you. But what this whole year has taught me is like, if you don't stand up for yourself, then who's going to do it? If you don't have like boundaries, if you don't be vocal about what you don't like and what you don't accept, and if you don't like get out of atmospheres where you're uncomfortable and like you're just suppressing your voice, and like you're not you're not standing up for yourself, you're not being true to yourself because you want somebody else to accept you, or you want to keep hanging on to something that is hurting you, it's literally taking your own life. And because of whatever like messed up thinking or whatever trauma you've experienced, like you keep accepting it, and in a very beautiful way, it's like this whole year has just taught me boundaries, like even like more like how to protect yourself and love yourself, and not being afraid of what someone's gonna think of you, or if someone's gonna hurt you because you put your foot down. Like, that's abuse. If you're afraid to tell somebody what you don't like, or if you're afraid to leave a situation or even a job because you feel like someone's gonna like hurt you, that's like abuse. That's trauma. That's like that's like so evil. That's like a really sick and twisted way to live. And I just think that like in my life there's been situations where you know I've 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 put my foot down, and I didn't care like how it affected other people in terms of like judging me or wanting to get back at me. Like, I just didn't care. And now like this year it's really come full circle, and I'm really understanding like why it's so important to not tolerate things that you don't like. Why are people tolerating things that they don't like? To save face or whatever, like to not ruffle any feathers, to be accepted, to keep the peace. Like, why? That is so detrimental to your own well-being, your health, your sanity, even for some people, where they get lost in other situations. They get lost in delusion, denial. They get caught up in trying to make someone else or something work that was never going to work, whether it's a job, whatever it is, a habit, an addiction, a person, an idea that you want to live up to, whatever, religion, whatever it is. Like, people a lot of times will try to be fake. Yeah, be fake because they want to, I don't know. It could come down to lack of self-love. I'm thinking now it could come down to a lack of self-respect. Yeah, maybe it comes down to a lack of self-respect. Maybe the person doesn't really respect themselves, because like when you really respect yourself in your core, and like you love yourself deeply, and you appreciate yourself, you take care of yourself, like you're not just going to let things distract you, disrespect you, constantly hurt you, lie to you, betray you, backstab you. Like, if you really take care of yourself, like emotionally, you're not going to allow that. So, a lot of things that people that go through trauma or they go through suppression or whatever, or abuse, a lot of times they think that what they've gone through they deserved, or they think that it's okay because it happens to everybody else, or you know that's like the best they can do. But like, I'm here to tell anybody watching, like, that's not true. It's not true. You never deserve for something bad to happen to you, like, ever. And if you tolerate it, that's a problem. And that's going to keep being a problem showing up in your life, in your everyday activity, your connections. Like, it's going to keep coming up in different ways until you kind of like get the program and realize, like, oh my God, this is messed up, this is wrong. And you have a change of heart, you have a change of mind, you have a change of your thoughts. And you begin to realize, like, oh my God, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. And why am I trying to make somebody else be happy that doesn't want me to be happy, doesn't want to love me for me, wants to change me, wants to control me? Like, that's not love. That is not love. That is not love. That is not love. And anybody who repeatedly hurts you and then comes around and tells you that they love you or they miss you or they care about you or they're thinking about you is a liar. Textbook liar. And those people you should stay away from. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what sign the moon is in today. I don't know what's going on. But like this past week, for no particular reason, I've really just been putting people back in their place, like in my personal life. Like I've said things to people that I never thought I would even have like the balls to say, like truthfully. And I stood up for myself and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm not okay with this. I've kept it quiet. I've kept it, cute to hold the peace, to make the other person happy or whatever. And like, to me, that's like so silly. It's so silly to think that it's just going to go away. If you ignore it, it's just going to go away. They're gonna, but like at the end of the day, if you do that with anything, especially a job or relationship, like you're just hurting yourself. You're basically like, almost like, I think a touch of like self-sabotage is in there as well. And it's going to mess up your life. It's going to wreck your life. You're going to blink and think, what happened to my life? You're going to, living for other people or trying to live to make people accept you or whatever, like, is so damaging to your well-being. Like, I don't think people realize how damaging it really is. Like, it is toxic behavior. It's toxic. It's neglect. You're neglecting yourself. And so a lot of times people just don't see what they're doing to themselves. They just don't see it, and why, I don't know. I don't know. But sometimes people, the rubber hits the road, as I say, and something has just kind of like clicked in their head, and they're like, you know what? I don't got to put up with this. I don't got to put up with this. I don't have to deal with this if I don't want to. I have the right to think how I think and move how I move. And, it's just like over the week, I was like thinking to myself, like, you know what? If I treated people how I really want to treat them and how I really saw them and how I really feel like the relationship or whatever it is, like the conversation is, like, they would not be my life. They would just not be my life, And I don't know why I was trying to like, I feel like almost like put on a mask, like everything is fine, or like I'm just gonna forget about it or whatever. I don't know why I was doing that, but then I had to realize, like, you know what, like, why? Just be honest. If you don't want somebody in your life, get them out of there. You don't like a job, leave. You don't like something about anything in your life, anything. It could be literally anything, an object, a person, place, or thing. You don't like something, you don't have to put up with it. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Like, speak your mind. Move how you want to move. Let go of things. Get rid of things that are not benefiting you. It's not just about romantic relationship. It's like anything that doesn't benefit you, like, you don't have to put up with it. You don't. And if you're choosing to, why? Why? So, yeah, so today has been a big day for me. I had to, I just sent off a couple text messages to somebody, and I'm like, you know what? You're bad luck in my life. You're a bad charm. I feel that, and what is the point? What is the point? Why am I lying to myself and then for lying to you that everything is fine, that I want to participate in this relationship, this connection, that I want to move forward when I don't, you know? Why am I doing that? So I didn't, I just was like, you know what? If I don't like somebody, if I don't want to talk to somebody, why am I acting like I do? To make the other person feel good. Like, for what? That's so stupid. Like, why am I doing that? So, you know, and it's not to be disrespectful or to be catty or none of that. It's just like, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself about anything. I don't recommend for people to lie about anything to make face. Like, that's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can slowly, have you dying inside and putting yourself last and not like prioritizing how you feel, like it's like for example, if somebody, just an example, it's like if somebody, like, did you wrong and you don't want to be with them anymore, but because they're begging and pleading, you're like, oh yeah, okay, like, you know I'll see how it goes, you know I wouldn't even call that being nice. I would just call that being like naive, really, because why? For what? Like, you saw the person's true colors, you don't have any like affinity for them, so why are you hanging around? Why are you hanging around? So that's like an example. And then, like, you play along, and things deteriorate in your life. You get distracted. You're not focusing on your own life, your own health, your own, like, how you feel. How are you doing? Like, you're trying to make something happen that's not meant to happen. That's not it. Like, that's not it. So the right thing to do is for that person to tell that other person, listen, I see you're crying, I see you're begging, I see you're sad, but I don't want to be with you. So I'm going to have to let you go. Have a nice life. Delete, block, erase, whatever you got to do. Or if it's in person, walk away and let that person correct their wrongs. Let that person look in the mirror and let that person question themselves as to why you had to walk away. Don't be an enabler of bad behavior. That's something that I definitely learned this year in a big way. It's like, do not enable bad behavior. Do not enable people trying to get a one up on you because you want to save face. Like, no, walk away. Slam that door, close that book, erase that number. Like, no. Don't have people playing in your face. you know? Don't have people playing in your face and you already know what the deal is, that's not good. So 2 connections I put an end to, 2 different types of connections. It really should be 3, but the other one is pending in my mind. Why? Because I've had enough. I feel like if I don't want you in my life, you need to get out. You need to leave. Like, you need to get out of my life. And I don't know. Maybe I've just been a person that's like, you know what? I don't want to have anybody try to hurt me, try to like be mad at me. But I'm like, now I'm like, okay, well, what if the roles were reversed, Like, why are you putting up with that? Why are you letting somebody play games in your face? Like, why? And maybe, 2022 has been a brilliant year for me. I really like this year for a lot of different reasons. It wasn't always easy in terms of the world, but I'm saying personally, 2022 was a brilliant year. And I think that 2023 is going to be a special year, a good year, a very prosperous year. I feel 2023 is going to be a very, very prosperous year for me. So just certain things that, just as being an adult, like, you have to put up with, you have to sometimes engage in, and you don't want to have to be a mean person in their eyes, or like put your foot down or whatever, but like you have to, you know, you have to, because then your kindness or your pure heart or whatever, like it is, like it's not being put in the right place. Like your kindness and your forgiveness, like forgiveness is for everybody, but what I'm saying is like your soft emotions or feelings towards a situation should only be for those who deserve it. It should not be like a blanket statement. Like if somebody's like a complete asshole to you, you shouldn't just be like, oh, well, they'll change. Like you should never be that kind of person, because then people think that you're stupid, you know? Then I'm sure the other person may think this person's stupid, you know, this person is stupid. I'm gonna run game on this person because they're so nice. All the while it's fake nice, but like they're so nice. Oh, I'm just gonna like do what I want, or not. You know, you could come across as a mean person, and life and whatever will still try to test you. But you have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries. So this like whole year has been me like establishing my voice. I think more like up front. Before, I think it'd be just more like a slide thing, like, okay, you know. But like now, I'll just tell the person, like, I don't like what you're saying. You're being disrespectful. Like now, I just say it. Like before, it's not that I wouldn't say it, but I would do it like in a roundabout way. I would do it like in a roundabout way where I don't come across as mean, is what I'm saying. But like this year, I don't even care if I come across as mean. I'm just like, what you're not going to do is disrespect me. Like, I'm right here, you know what I'm saying? Or you did this or whatever, like how your behavior, like I don't like what you're doing and I'm not going to tolerate it. So bye. Like that's how I am not now. Like, because I think the universe was trying to build that up in me. You know, I really believe like the universe has been trying to have me build up my throat chakra. That's why it's still recovering right now. Speaking the truth to people, like standing up for myself, not being a victim to stereotypes, not being a victim to being just a woman, not being a victim to what people think, their judgment, like just standing up for myself in a way where I'm like, you know what, this is my life. And what you're not gonna do is, you know, place, person, object, thing. What I'm not gonna have is something in my life that's gonna tear me down. Like I'm not gonna ever tolerate that. So yeah, it's been really eye-opening. Like I've just had like the personal power to be like, you know what, I don't like that. So yeah, I was just thinking like now I don't even care if somebody thinks I'm a bitch, you know? Like real talk, like now I'm like, I don't even care if somebody thinks I'm mean or whatever. Like now I don't even care. Whereas before I was like, oh, you know, but life has taught me a lot. Life has taught me a lot, and I just had to learn, you know? I just really had to learn like this is your life, you know? I mean, I've known this since my spiritual awakening in 2017. I've come to know a lot of things. A lot of things since my spiritual awakening in 2017. I just had some throat spray on this side and it feels a lot better. Let me get some more so I could talk. So one second, y'all. Sorry, I gotta get some throat spray. The cap is kind of broken, so I had to just like take a sip. But you know, sadly, I think especially for women, when it comes to men, you know, this is a whole other conversation, you know. Of course, you know, I think a lot of women have this problem because, yes, they're afraid of abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, cheating, manipulation, the hurt of other people that you love. Yeah, you know, that's a wider topic, but this message also applies to that, you know. I think just not being afraid of people's perception, people's ideas of you, or like them trying to manipulate you, you know? So I've always, I would say, like, secretly have my own, you know, exit plan, my own exit strategy of like how I'm gonna leave a situation if I don't like it. But I just don't think I was like very vocal at the moment, in person. Like I would normally channel in other ways. And I just think as like more time's gone on, even as I've had, you know, just getting older as well, I think I've just had more experiences that the universe has brought my way where it's teaching me that, okay, you know, you set the tone, you know. And this is a very important part of the video I want people to hear is like, you set the tone. So, you know, what you tolerate equals what you accept. So another example, you know, you're in a toxic workplace and, you know, you're trying to make excuses, you know, the paycheck, this, that. But like, you know, nothing has changed. You know, it's just terrible, you know? And it gets to a point where the excuses are not going to cover up the amount of abuse or manipulation. Like it's just not equaling up. It's just not worth it at that point. It's never worth it. So, you know, you have to address it head on. You have to address it, you know? So whatever in your life, you know, feels like a bad luck or feels like it's not supposed to be there, you know, or you're not supposed to be somewhere, you're not supposed to be entertaining something, just don't do it. Just get rid of it. Just simply close it, shut it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, love yourself more to realize that what you tolerate is what you're gonna get. So when you walk away or you get rid of something that is hurting you, you have to accept that it's not going to be easy. That's another part of it. You have to accept, but you have to be patient. You have to wait for better to come. You have to manifest better. You have to, you know, think better thoughts, you know. I think morals, you know, I do think that morals is also a layer of it as well. You know, if you have morals and you have self-respect and you respect people who respect you, you're not going to act a certain way. You're not going to be in certain situations. You're just not. You're just not. So like if you, you know, morally think that, you know, lying is bad, you're not going to be around a bunch of liars. You're not going to try to make excuses for them and say, oh, well, you know, this happened to them and, oh, you know, well, oh, they didn't really mean it. You know, you're just not going to be around it. If you don't like somebody, you don't like them. You know what I'm saying? You don't like a certain situation, you don't have to stay in it. But it all comes down to the person. You know, it all comes down to what that person believes for themselves. So in reality, if I look at it from that perspective, you know, nobody should really be unhappy, because what you can't control, you know, what you definitely cannot control, you give to God, you give to higher power, and you woo-saw, breathe out, and move on. But then the things you can't control, you must control for yourself, for your well-being, and do the best you can, and if I'm looking at it from that perspective, then nobody should be having a, all the way through a terrible life, terrible year, terrible month. Maybe you're having a crappy week, but then what can you do that's in your control or in your possession, or time, that can change that bad week into a good week and then into a good month? It comes down to what we tolerate, and I love that this year it's really been about like putting forth more effort, at least for me, in boundaries and putting my foot down and not just, brushing it off. Like really just being able to say, you know what, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. I love myself too much. I work too hard. I'm not going to keep accepting it. I'm not going to keep doing this, and when you get to that point, you may think, oh, this is bad, but like, it's actually really good. Like when you get to like a breaking point, it's actually really good. And not, I wouldn't use the word breaking point, but when you get to the point where like you're fed up or like you've had enough of something, it's actually a good thing, because then you can start to make the changes to fix it. You can start to actually look at the situation and say, okay, like, what's the deal here? What's happening here? How is this gonna affect me? Or how is this gonna benefit me? Or what does this do? Like, that's the point that you want to get to when you're wanting to really level up your life, and live the life that you see in your head, and have the kind of connections and relationships that you deserve. If you deserve better, then go get better. Go live better, go be better, go seek better, manifest better. That's what it's all about. I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I didn't go against the grain sometimes, go against family opinions sometimes even, and seek spirituality. When I left the church, I left a certain religion. I knew that it wasn't for me. I was like 17, 16, and it wasn't until I was really 18 that I really had the full power to say, you know what, this is not working for me. I don't see how it's benefiting my life, coping mechanisms. When times get tough, I don't see how it's really helping me. Like, I had to seek it. I had to go after what worked for me. And even to this day, if there's still people yapping their gums, I've got to a point now in my spiritual life, and even as a woman, as a person, where I realize that, okay, I just don't care what you think. I don't give a fuck. Actually, I've actually told people that, like, not too recently, like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. Like, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say now. Like, I don't care, because you're not in my shoes, you're not in my head, you're not in my life, and you're not gonna be. So stay over there. And that's just true tea. Like, I've had to really get like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, ever since I have, life is just going the way I need it to go, because I'm taking control. I'm taking back my power. I'm like, you know what? That's what we're not going to do. That's what we're not going to do. And that's why even jobs, I would say, or corporations, or whatever, companies, in terms of work, this is why they want people who are dumb, deaf, and blind. This is literally why they want people to be subjects and slaves and servants, because they know that a subject and a slave, is suppressed. That's the whole point. So it's rare, it's rare to be in a job where, or even around people these days, where you feel like you're not suppressed. You're not being choked. You're not being hushed. You're not being told, hey, stay in your place, or just do this, just do this for me. Like, that is so that is abuse. Like now that I'm like, I'm like, that is abusive, because that can't be healthy. You know, that's not empowering you to be to be seen as a real human being. Like that's not anything that's going to really support you in your dreams and your own ambitions. Like that's not going to help you be a leader. It's not going to help you be somebody of massive worth to the world. All it's going to do is control you, you know, and a lot of things in this matrix are built to control. You know, that's what we're all seeing with everything happening around the world. It's just all built to monopolize, divide, conquer, and control. Even relationships, even personal relationships, interpersonal relationships. It's like designed to control. And anywhere that energy is not love, because love is not control. You know, love is not control. You know, even if I had to put it to the omnipotent, to God, to the supreme source. You know, people say God gave us free will. Well, I would hope so, because if he didn't, or it, she, he, whatever didn't, that's not love, because love is not control. You know, love is respect, space, expression. Expression is one of the highest forms of love, of being love, of encapsulating love is freedom. That is love. Restraint, confinement is evil, is suppressing, is harsh, is cold. So you got to be honest. You know, you got to be honest with yourself and what you're willing to tolerate and not tolerate, you know, and you don't have to, excuse me, you don't have to fight, you don't have to curse, you don't have to be rude. But what you do have to do, especially as a woman, is vocalize how you feel, you know. And if somebody says, oh, I don't want to hear that, oh, you're just being dramatic, oh, they're trying to basically, what's what I'm looking for, they're basically trying to deny your feelings. What that person at that point is trying to do is invalidate how you feel. That's basically it. They're trying to make you look like crazy, you know. And once something does that, you've got to get out of that situation. If something is just like blatantly evil or toxic, and they're trying to make you look like the crazy one, you know, then you got to get out of there, and you got to stay out, and you got to move on, and you have to realize that, you know, this is not for me. This is just not for me. And so I think that everybody can take something away from this video. I think there's something to be taken from this video for sure, for everybody, because so many people, the reason why they don't have what they have, or they don't have what they want to have, or they don't live the life they want to live, is because they tolerate too much bad things. You know, they tolerate way too much bad. They just do. They stay too long in toxic situations, a toxic work atmosphere, you know, abuse, manipulation, and it happens to the best of people, even sometimes. But when you wake up and when you realize, okay, you know what, I didn't deserve this. I did not deserve what you did, or I did not deserve to be treated like that. When you get to that point, that is your inner, that is like the core of you, the strength from your very essence within you is telling you, like, you're standing up for yourself. That's when you know that you're in the right. And that's when you know that, okay, there's going to be a brighter day. But I have to get rid of this, or let go of this, or get out of this to get to that brighter day, to get to that better relationship, to get to that better job, to get to that better lifestyle. Like, there's things I have to just get rid of, and it's not to make anybody mad at you or sad at you or, disappointing you. But if they are, so what? So what? Like, this is your life. This is your life. And everybody deserves to have people around them who genuinely love them and and let them be themselves, like let people be them. Nothing is worse than, I think, being a friend or a lover or even a relative of people that want to change you or want to like hurt you, to have some kind of control over you. Like, that is just not love. It's just not. Like, respect is respect, disrespect is disrespect, and that's how I see it now. Like, there's no in between. There's no like, oh, it'll just gloss over. Like, that is actually more harmful than anything else. And if you are speaking up for yourself and that person or whatever or situation is trying to like push back on you, and it just doesn't feel genuine, that is something that you just have to release, in that moment, and realize that, okay, like, this is something that if I don't let go of it now, it's gonna linger in my life. If I don't like just accept the pain now and just heal and get over it, it's gonna linger and linger and linger. And the reason why pain for so many people lingers in their life is because they don't release it. They lie. They say, oh yeah, I've forgiven that person. Oh yeah, I don't have any bad feelings. They lie to themselves because it's the pain of it all. It's the pain of the betrayal. It's the pain of the disagreement. It's the pain of the neglect, whatever it is, the cheating, the whatever, the stealing. Like, it's just that the idea that, oh, this person just didn't do it to me, but they did. You know what I'm saying? And they have that person hang around, and the person gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The situation gets worse and worse and worse because somebody has not taken action. Somebody has not just like stood up for themselves and said, you know what, like, we can't be friends anymore or whatever. For example, like, we can't converse because you gossip, like, or like you are two-faced, like you're just not a good person. I just don't want a bad luck in my life. Like, that's what it comes down to a lot of times. It's like people see the red flags, people, especially in social media, want to talk about red flags. Red flags are always there. The signs are always there, and I'll keep saying that. For just like with Harry and Meghan, the manipulation, the narcissistic ways were always there. Always. The signs are always there, but do people take heed of them? No. So people just have to wake up. If there's anybody in your life that you get a bad feeling about, let go of them. Like, you have to. Or it could be like your life at stake. It could be your future at stake. And you're giving that person way too much power over you. So I just want to share a lesson that I've really perfected this year. If I could, I feel like I've really understood the reason behind why certain things happen, and like how I could do it differently. And I just want to, some people just don't know what abuse is, until it happens to somebody else, and they're like, oh, that's so abusive. But then the same thing has happened to them, but they don't realize it's abuse because somebody's talked them into something different, or denial, or self-sabotage. It could be a lot of things, maybe not having high self-esteem. It could be a lot of different things why people just ignore reality, the truth of a situation. But I'm here to tell you that it's always better to face it, face it head on and get it out of your way so that you can have a better life, a better day even, and really just feel good about yourself, feel good about where you are in life. Like, that just makes everything so much better. If your life is like, I'll say this, if your life is on a decline because somebody or something is in your life, or maybe you picked a job that is, you know, draining your soul, and you're just not aware of it. You're just not aware that, it's sucking the life out of you, and it's not until maybe you see it happen to somebody else, and maybe somebody dies on the job or dies after work, and then the position's open, and you're like, oh my God, the company didn't even care. The person passed away, went through all that stress, had a heart attack and died, and the company didn't even care. And if the company did care, they're gone. And that's how life is. So it's my hope and prayer that every single one of us, including myself, that we don't see the signs late. It is my prayer that every single person who's watched this video, they will not be late to see the signs. Anything God in people's lives, in my life, that they do not see is hurting them, is hurting their future. We're asking for angels and the universe that you made, God, to show us that something is wrong. Show us where people are plotting evil against us that we can't see. The invisible evil forces, the people that don't mean us any good, people that don't have any good intentions. I'm praying that every single person that watched this video today will begin to see the truth. Whatever in their life is secretly sabotaging them, we're asking for it to be removed. Amen. So I just wanted to pray that. I felt led to. So a lot of times we don't see it, guys. A lot of times we don't see, or we don't realize what's happening, and it's also discernment. I will say that I think it's also about the gift of discernment, the awareness of the present moment. If someone is not spiritual, how would they have, I don't know how they do it. Because with my life, I've had signs, the signs will point you either to the good or the bad. It will either expose the bad, or it's either trying to guide you towards the good. That's the only two outcomes, is leading you towards the good or leading you towards the bad, or exposing you to what is bad and telling you as a warning, stay away, stay away. So that's the only two signs, is here, over here, over here, good, 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 or stay away, stay away, stay away, warning, warning, warning. It will be there. If someone's a narcissist or evil person, okay, they can hide it better. But I'm saying, if you stay connected, you will get that sign. If you take the time to understand your body and how your body feels around certain energy and certain people and certain environments, you will not stay where you're not supposed to be. I'm telling you. So if you've never had that experience, or you've never been able to get that download, you've never been in a situation in your life where you've had signs, maybe you've wanted signs from the universe, but you never got any, just ask for it. Maybe work on your sacral chakra, your crown chakra, do some meditation, begin to think about how you're raised, is what I would say as advice. If you're looking for advice, I don't know, go back to how you were raised. Was there something in your childhood that made you think that somebody yelling at you was okay? And now that you're in an unhappy marriage, you realize that, oh my God, this person is abusing me. This person is talking down to me like a child. And, I need to get out of this situation. It could be anything, it could literally be anything. But everything changes the moment that you realize your boundaries, what you will accept and won't accept. And if like a deal breaker, a deal breaker, if something is just not it, you've got to love yourself enough to to say this is not it. Okay. So thank you all for watching. It's almost an hour, if not an hour already. On my end, I see here the clock. Thank you all for watching. All right. And take good care of yourselves and make sure that you're surrounded by love and genuine connections and good people. You know, don't ever stay around people who don't mean you no good and don't really love you and don't really like you even. Like, don't stay around anything like that, because it will backfire. It will hurt you in the end. It will sabotage you if you don't get a hold of it and take control of it and move on. Okay? Love you all. Mwah. Bye.